Hey, parents of eighth graders, coming to you with another language arts review and preview to talk about what we did this week and to look ahead to what we're doing next week. It was a good week this week. We ended on a good note today. Especially, I'll give a shout out to my 7-8. Yesterday on Thursday, did not have a great day. We talked about just really struggling to work productively during work time. I've seen this from a lot of eighth graders so far this year that when we get to work, when I say, all right, you have 15 minutes to do this, you have 20 minutes to do this, here's your task, here's what you need to be able to accomplish. We haven't done a great job of just putting nose to the grindstone and getting things done. Typically, it'll be a lot of whispering to partners or neighbors that turns into talking, that turns into just really not getting much done. And then we're really surprised when we get to a deadline and we're far from where we need to be. So I've told them that has to be something we get better at. I don't know if that's still a consequence, a leftover consequence from our COVID absence, but it's something that we have got to develop because using your time wisely and productively is an absolute necessity. It's a required skill in school and in the workplace. So I'm hoping that they continue to buckle down on that. But like I said, my 7-8 today did great. They had a day where they knew the deadline was coming up on Monday for these presentations, and they put in a lot of really good work today to get there. So great job to them. So this week we have been in Ben 2 of our argument reading and writing unit. We've been focusing on the big idea: what possible big or small changes do I see or can I create? We've taken the work from our first bend where we were saying these are some different possible ways to create change, and now we're focusing on some specific topics. You can see down below that we've been in what are called coalition groups on these 4 topics. So either environment, equality, education, or personal freedoms. Those are all topics that a lot of people have a passion towards. And so the kids in our classrooms definitely have found some interest there. It's been easy for them to do research, to find some things that stand out to them because they're topics that we really focus on as a society and that we focus on in school. So on Monday, they are giving presentations out of these coalition groups. They'll be giving their presentations individually, but I pitched it to them like this. So your coalition group was originally just a group of students who were allies on the same topic that had kind of some similar passions and beliefs. And then I said they formed an imaginary nonprofit organization. And the first step in their nonprofit was to go out and speak to the schools in their district. And so we're sending each of them out to a different school. That's kind of the image that I want them to have for this presentation, is they're talking to a group of students about their topic and ways that can be changed, issues that there are, and ways that we can work on those issues. And so we've also taken a look at some different examples this week of actual kids who have made changes around us. Lots of really cool examples today of kids who've started a movement, who have developed some new skills to improve a certain problem or issue around them. So lots of good examples. We did some debating this week. We have looked at some rubrics and checklists to improve our writing. And so I think kids will be ready to go on Monday, but they do have to put in some work to make sure that their presentations are good to go. All right, so on Monday, we only have 2 days next week. Obviously, on Monday, they're going to have a homework check. On that homework check, I'll take 1 check for independent reading. They have met their 100 pages per week that we've started to try to. They need to hit their Lexia minutes, which they'll probably need a weekend to finish. And then they did a Flipgrid presentation today, which was a practice 1.5-minute video that's online on Flipgrid. So all 3 of those things will count for 3 different homework checks next week on Monday. And then on Monday also, we're going to start giving our actionable change presentations. They're going to be 3 minutes long. They can't use slides. It's just them getting up with a couple note cards and delivering their presentation, their speech on their topic. The overall focus is kind of broken down like this. So they're going to get up and say, this is the topic I'm talking about. Here's an issue within that topic. Here are a few reasons why this is an issue with specific evidence to back up that those problems exist. And then here are a couple changes that I think we should make. And then they're going to have some examples of how other people have made similar changes. So lots of evidence involved. And I told them that it should be 3 minutes of persuasive content. If they modify those numbers a little bit, like if their reasons and their evidence and their examples aren't quite exactly what I just said, I think that's okay, as long as they deliver something that's passionate and that's persuasive. So that's happening on Monday. We'll probably have a few left over that run into Tuesday, but we'll see when we get there. All right. Now, something to think about going into next week is students need to remember to bring a book home, at least one book, maybe 2 or 3 books home. And they need to have supplies to stay focused over break. Unfortunately, we just cannot afford to lose 10 days of total instruction. And so I would recommend pushing your students a little bit. I know it's been just kind of a crazy semester, I guess, up to this point. And it's good to take a break, to rewind, relax, but we do need to continue to push and challenge ourselves. I know I have some reading over the break that I'm really excited to get to. Some other options there, though, include Lexia. They will have Lexia minutes that they can be completing over break. That'll be, I don't exactly know how I'm going to do it yet. Probably something like extra credit. I don't really give extra credit, but if students are hitting their Lexia minutes over break, then I will find a way to count that. And then vocabulary.com is another tool that we use in class. I would call it somewhat fun. It kind of has a game component to it where kids are looking through different definitions and trying to define those through kind of a quiz format. So those would be 2 things to point your kids toward if they don't have books to read. But I would highly recommend getting some books in kids' stockings, or however it's going to happen over break, to make sure that they are continuing to find that love of reading. I have some good recommendations. If you need any, I'd be glad to send them your way. Well, I'm looking forward to next week and students' presentations. Make sure they're practicing over break. I would expect that to deliver a good presentation, they're going to need to practice it at least 5 times over break. So invite them to do it in front of you, in front of your family. That way they get used to what it's going to be like on Monday when they get up and present in front of their classmates. A lot of them are anxious to do so, but I've told them that level of anxiety is fairly normal, and it's not something that should prevent us from trying, and it's not something that prevents us from being able to deliver a presentation like many of us have to do on a regular basis in our workplaces. All right, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.